Hi guys, I wanted to share with you my opinion on how I use OpenAPI and mainly ChatGPT. If you search for OpenAPI and then select ChatGPT, you're gonna land on this page, and then you can click here and try ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is gonna ask you to register. You can register with your Google account, and here's the main screen. I'm going to show you, for example, in my opinion, why ChatGPT could be a little bit controversial according to the questions. If you ask, for example, political questions. For example, this is the first question that I asked. For example, let's suppose that I don't know anything about the Cuban history, or I've never lived in Cuba, for example, and I want to know a little bit about Cuba, and I ask this question. For example, could you please explain why Che Guevara was an assassin? So I'm assessing that Che Guevara was an assassin, okay? And you can see here the response. Ernesto Che Guevara, a famous revolutionary from Argentina, was not solely an assassin. So he's admitting that Che Guevara was an assassin. While he was involved in several armed conflicts, he's also recognized for his role in leading the Cuban Revolution and for his political ideology of socialism and anti-imperialism. However, it is true that Che Guevara was involved in ordering and carrying out the execution of prisoners during the Cuban Revolution, including those who were accused of being war criminals or of participating in counter-revolutionary activities. These actions have led some to label him as an assassin. Okay. So I asked a similar question about Fidel Castro. For example, was Fidel Castro a dictator, or is there democracy in Cuba? And you can see here, Fidel Castro, who ruled Cuba as the prime minister from 1959 to 1976, as the president of the Council of States and president of the Council of Ministers from 1976 to 2008, was widely considered a dictator. He established a one-party communist state in Cuba and ruled with an iron fist, suppressing political oppositions, curtailing civil liberties, and controlling the media. As for democracy in Cuba, the country has a highly centralized, one-party political system with limited political freedoms and civil liberties. The Communist Party of Cuba is the only legal political party, and elections are carefully controlled by the government, with opposition candidates and parties often excluded from the process. There is little room for free and fair political competition, and the government heavily regulates the media and restricts access to information. In summary, Fidel Castro was a dictator, and Cuba is not a democratic country in traditional sense. Okay? So let's suppose, for example, that I want to correct a little bit this answer, and I can respond. I disagree, as we have elections in Cuba. We have a parliament, a prime minister, and a president. And people can vote for candidates to the for the National Assembly. Let's see what it responds. And you can see here, you're correct. I apologize for any confusion in my previous response. Cuba does have a parliamentary system with the National Assembly that serves as the country's legislative body, and the President of the Council of State and the President of the Council of Ministers, who serve as the head of state and head of government, respectively. Elections are held for the National Assembly, and citizens can vote for candidates. However, it is important to note the political system in Cuba is a one-party state with the Communist Party of Cuba as the only legal political party. Political opposition is limited, and the government heavily regulates the media and restricts access to information. While there are elections and some elements of a parliamentary system, the lack of political competition, freedoms, and civil liberties means that Cuba's political system does not fit the traditional definition of a democratic country. You can see that's different, okay? It's a different response with respect to this one, okay? So you can see that it might mislead you if you don't ask the right questions, okay? Because you can see here in this first response, he didn't say anything about elections in Cuba, about the National Assembly, about the Prime Minister or President of the Cuban Republic. Of course, this could create confusion, but we can have a lot of helpful information from here. For example, could you please create a blog post where I talk about the dark side of ChatGPT and the dark side of artificial intelligence. And here I have my article. In recent years, advancements in artificial intelligence, AI, have revolutionized the way we live and work. From self-driving cars to virtual assistants, AI has made our life easier and more convenient. However, as we continue to explore the potential of AI, it's important to also consider the dark side of this technology. ChatGPT is one example of the power and potential danger of AI. As a language model developed by OpenAI, ChatGPT can generate human-like text responses to questions and requests. While this is a remarkable feat, it also raises concerns about the potential misuse of AI. One of the biggest concerns with AI is the issue of bias. AI models, including ChatGPT, are trained on large amounts of data, which can include implicit biases. This can lead to discriminatory outcomes as the AI may perpetuate and even amplify existing biases. For example, a language model trained on biased data may generate responses that reinforce harmful stereotypes. Another concern is the potential for AI to be used for malicious purposes. As AI models like ChatGPT become more advanced, they could be used to generate fake news, propaganda, or even malicious software. This could have serious consequences as it becomes increasingly difficult to distinguish between real and fake information. The use of AI in sensitive fields such as criminal justice and healthcare also raises ethical concerns. In these fields, decisions made by AI could have serious consequences, including the potential for wrongful convictions and incorrect medical diagnosis. As AI becomes more widely used, it's important to ensure that it is regulated and monitored to minimize the potential for harm. In conclusion, as we can continue to explore the potential of AI, it's important to also consider the dark side of this technology. While AI has the potential to improve our lives in many ways, we must be aware of the potential dangers and ensure that it is used in a responsible and ethical manner. Okay, I'm going to copy this article here and I'm going to share it on Facebook and see what people say about it. Okay? Of course, I can use also ChatGPT for helping me in my job, for example, for correcting my articles or for writing code for me. For example, could you please create a JavaScript snippet to make geolocation with Google Maps. As you can see, the code snippet was created and it is correct because I've used it before. I can show you here in my editor that I have that code here, for example, in geolocation. And you can see that is very similar to the one that I wrote here. I have an info windows, but if you see here, navigator.location, get current position, then I can capture the latitude and longitude, and I can show that information on a Google's map. So now I can ask him, for example, could you please also generate an HTML page to show the map? You can see here that it's telling me that I have to replace your API key with my API key. So let's give it a try. I'm going to copy this code. I'm going to go to my editor. And in my editor, I'm going to create a file called chatgpt.html. I'm going to copy this code. I'm going to take my Google API key and I'm going to copy it here in the JavaScript code. I'm going to paste it, and now I'm going to execute this file in the browser. And you can see that it works. You see my position here in Turin, and it works. If I change the code here, for example, let's suppose that I want to increment the zoom, and I reload the page, you can see here, you can see my street. It's crazy, guys. So if I had to write this code by hand, it would have taken me, I don't know, maybe 1 hour of work. And with ChatGPT, it just wrote that code for me. Okay, isn't it great? So there is no good or evil in things. It depends on how we use this tool in our daily life. Okay, see you and thank you.